Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow. And with me, as always, is a man who some say is really just a bug in the game that CG can't get rid of. All I know is I call him Stan.
I am unsquashable.
Well, there's a lot of things that are unsquashable in this game that CG creates. Even through testing, it still slides right by and cannot get it right. Other than
hard.
Yeah, I mean, CG's having a rough couple weeks. What have you been up to these couple of weeks, though?
Oh, man, despite the negativity, I am living my best Star Wars life right now. I just gotta say, it has been a lot of fun. We've got Halloween going on. We decided kind of last minute we were gonna be Rey and Kylo for Halloween.
All right.
Yeah, now this was a challenge for me. I am one of those types where if I do something, I have to do it to extreme levels of perfection. There's probably some sort of deep-seated psychological insecurity issue with my parents or something somewhere in there. But either way, I'm like, I cannot spend $700 on the Kylo Ren costume. Like, I gotta go the opposite way. So I end up, this little cheapo Kylo in a bag costumes. Had the worst mask in the world, so I did away with that. Got this god awful wig. I ended up looking more like Snape from Harry Potter, but went with it.
So what you're saying is your lightsaber cost more than the whole rest of the outfit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, easily. So I look like crap. Just absolute garbage. My girlfriend, on the other hand, she's real crafty. She loves making stuff, hand making stuff. So she found like some old curtains and belts and made her Rey costume, and it looked really good. So we went the cheap route, but it still looked good. And we actually won a little costume contest at in our town. They had a little thing going on this weekend, and we came in first place. So go us!
All right, what'd you get out of it?
Like a T-shirt and some little garbage. Nothing great, but it was the thought that counts.
Star Wars just showing off that everybody else is a loser, right?
That's it. Suck it. The chick that dressed up like Moxie from Borderlands. Let's see what else. But it's been a few weeks here. There's a lot of stuff going on. Been checking out Resistance. Season's back on, and it's on the Disney Now service. I don't have cable. And in a completely unrelated note, we have the best listeners in the world. So thank you for that. Wink, wink. Let's see. I found a Peter Mayhew autograph. It was on the Facebook Marketplace. $50.
Oh.
Authenticated, had the certificate of authenticity and everything. So I was able to snatch that up. That was a nice little rare treasure to find. I don't know, man. That's pretty much it. What have you been up to?
Oh, I mean, just, football still going strong, having night games in which you don't get back home until 2:30 because 110,000 people all decide to leave the stadium all at one time.
Right.
Causes a little bit of a traffic jam, so a hour trip turns into a 3-hour trip home. But, yeah, it's very... Penn State football still going strong there. Still undefeated, still climbing the ranks. So I'm just waiting for my hopes and dreams to get crushed. I know it's going to happen somewhere along the line, but for right now, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And just long days at work. It's been a rough couple months here.
It has, man. We miss you on the Discord.
Yeah. I haven't been able to sit down. They have me running around everywhere, but hopefully it'll get settle down. But other than that, I mean, I was going through and still following SpaceX, and they had their CEO go through and was doing an interview about their Starlink network. Did you see anything on this?
Yeah, I saw they're trying to put all the satellites in the world up there, and I don't know how to feel about this.
It's going through. I think they upped it. I put 4,000. I honestly think it's 40,000 satellites now.
That's too many.
And they're going through. They're launching their first operational satellites. They're doing 60 at a time. There should be one here in a couple weeks, and then one before the end of the year. And then starting next year, they're planning on doing 2 launches per month. So 60 satellites apiece. So 120 per month going up. And they said the limiting time factor is going to be the second stage of the rocket. They're going to be able to go through, refurbish and reuse the first stage, build the satellites quick enough. It's going to be the second stage and possibly the fairings if they can't catch and reuse them. That's going to be the limiting factor on how quick they actually get these things up in the air. And
Yeah, I just hope they followed through with the making them less reflective and not like ruining astrophotography forever.
well, they went through and said actually when people were spotting them go through the original time, they actually weren't up in their full orbit. So as soon as they actually went into their full orbit, it wasn't as visible as what they were like the day or two after they got launched. So
Yeah, I mean, either way, like naked eye observation and like long-term exposure photography,
yeah,
like the slightest little dot will just ruin an image. So there's a lot of concern in the astrophotography arena.
yeah. I just find this fascinating just because of you went through and kind of had this big gap of space exploration, rocketry, satellites, and everything. Just a big lull of nothing happening. Pretty much after they shut down Apollo. I mean, kind of a little bit with the shuttle, but as soon as they actually developed the shuttle, everything after that just kind of stagnated. And now you have SpaceX, Blue Origin, Rocket Lab, all these up and coming companies going through and landing rockets, which is driving down the price, which is making it easier to go through and launch satellites and more satellites, in which SpaceX actually said this year they have enough rockets to actually launch a lot more, but the satellites and the payloads aren't ready. And I don't think you would ever see that, especially the way Boeing and ULA and other rocket companies worked as far as going through. It's like, hey, we have a satellite, now we build the rocket. SpaceX is like, we have the rockets now, and we don't have payloads to put them on, or payloads to launch them. So it's just crazy. I'm glad we're hitting that point, and really curious to see where the next actually couple years land us, because they're going to be a race to the moon landers, possibly. Basically, it sounds like they want an orbiting space station around the moon too, which will be really cool.
That would be pretty cool. Oh man, we are traversing forward pretty quickly. Kind of reminds me of something I've been doing. Have you seen the game The Outer Worlds?
I have seen clips of it.
It is very good. Picked it up on the Game Pass on Xbox, and it's like a Skyrim. It's Obsidian game, but it's kind of like a Bethesda game, but a lot more focused.
Okay.
And it's basically you're a colonist, going out to kind of the edge of the galaxy where corporations pretty much run the show out there. So it's this hyper capitalized kind of situation, and you're kind of seeing all the different companies doing that now. It's not that much of a far-flung future anymore to see it work out that way.
Yeah, I went through all these science fiction books and movies and everything, making it a far-flung idea. Now you're going through and realizing it is getting closer and closer, and there's very rapid development towards it also.
Yeah.
Speaking of rapid development, how's your roster going?
It's not very rapid. Hey, before we get off of space, cool little event coming up November 11th. We got the Mercury transit, is where you'd be able to see Mercury actually pass in front of the sun. Obviously, you got to have some specialized filters and everything. Don't just stare at it and try to see it, but it's a pretty rare event. But that should be coming up pretty soon. But yeah, my roster, it is slow. I put the last Zeta on General Anakin. And yeah, that's been it. I'm kind of hoarding back in horde mode again.
Oh, I'm getting close to that point, but there are a lot of characters that I am going to go through and work on for both Geonosis and territory battles. So I did finally go through. I got Echo up to gear 12.
Oh, nice.
And took Bruce up to gear 13. So getting ready. So what I'm going to actually work on now is really, I have everybody ready other than Stars for General Anakin Skywalker to come back. Galactic power-wise.
Right.
Not that it's going to be easy to do. So what I'm going to do is try to alleviate that pain. Is I'm going to go through, I'm working on Padme, Ahsoka, General Kenobi. I'll probably do B1 and then decide between... I don't know if I'll do Asajj because it seems like she just gets killed off immediately in that event. But definitely B1 and then decide between IG-100 and the B2 Super Battle Droid to take up to Gear 13 just to kind of make that event a little bit easier. And both of those teams will translate over into territory battles.
Yeah.
So pretty excited about that, getting to that point in which I can just go through, start Gear 13 teams and everything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do the community completion shout out this month with all the goings and rolling backs and whatnot. Kind of lost track of it this week. May have to set a channel up for that. It's kind of the community bragging channel.
Oh yeah, so I was supposed to do that. I will do that right when we get off the show. I will set that up real quick.
Yeah, be a place you put your Grand Arena victories or your 47 defenses you racked up, whatever. I did make a note that Path got his Darth Revan, so congratulations on that.
One step closer to Darth Malak, and I mean, I'll just say a general shout out and congratulations to anybody who was able to get Darth Malak.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not an easy event. It's really not.
In some shape or form also.
Yeah.
CG did not make it easy this time.
No.
And speaking of Grand Arena, how's that been treating you?
Pretty good. I put my Skywalker on defense, and it's been working out for me.
Yeah, I ran into one of those. It's not pleasant.
They're not fun, no.
But yeah, I'm doing really well considering I still have that mental hurdle. It's like 3 or 4 in a row that I've not set defense on the first go around. But after that, I mean, I go 2-1 every time. So
you're playing on hard mode. You're so good. You got to give yourself a handicap.
That's right. So, but this round, I actually did set a defense. I was proud of myself. Got my first win. Waiting for the second round to actually go through. Looking at his roster and everything, it looks like I have a pretty good chance of beating him. And in the process of that, I kind of went through getting Echo and some of the other teams finished up. I realized I do have that Padme counter team geared up for Darth Revan. So I've been going through, working on mods and trying to go through and get turn meter and the mod set up to be able to counter Darth Revan with Malak with that Padme team. Working hard on that and getting that set up, and that should actually make Grand Arena for me even easy. Not even easier. Give me better counters to actually go through and full clear, because right now I am going through winning by just efficiency of clearing 2.5 zones and getting stuck on a Darth Revan team or getting stuck on one team or another because of that. Of really not doing any full clears, which makes it very, very hard to get into Kyber when you can't complete all the challenges and feats and everything to get that extra rewards.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can balance that out, like they mentioned. I'm still positive on Grand Arena. I just kind of wish they'd make it more, or each season a little more distinguished. Because I don't know what round we're on half the time, or what.
Yeah,
really anything about it. It's just like, okay, well, it's going on right now. Let me set some defenses. Okay, I got promoted. Oh shit, it's over already. Oh well.
Yeah, same here. And they did talk about that they are planning on going through doing the ships and 3v3 and distinguishing it that each week that way, which will be nice. And that's the only downside that I have for Grand Arena right now. It's just that it's stagnant to me and it's kind of stale to me because it's the same format every time. Going through, mixing it up every round, having a different format for the week. I like that. That would mix it up just enough in which I wouldn't be going through having a mental hurdle of going through, oh, I need to set defenses again. I'm going to set the same defenses every time. So
I kind of wish there was maybe one more team to assign just to make you stretch that roster a little bit more, because we're starting to kind of fall back into the same meta teams. Okay, you're going to have a Revan, you're going to have a Garth Revan. Okay, here's your Night Sisters.
I think give it a little bit.
It's getting better.
I was going to say, give it a little bit with Gear 13. Gear 13 has not been out long enough to kind of break up the Grand Arena metas yet, but
yeah,
I did run into a Gear 13 Night Sister team.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was, well, Gear 13 Asajj and Gear 13 Old Daka. And I'm like,
okay.
Trying to go through and actually kill off Old Daka was just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I've been using my Geos on Night Sisters a lot, just because they can get around that zombie taunt.
Yeah. Okay.
That's been kind of my counter for them.
Yeah, when you go through, it's like, just depends on how you play. If you go through and put your Geos on defense or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're kind of stuck. Use the wrong counter at the wrong place, or have the wrong team on defense and they have it on defense, and then all of a sudden you don't have a counter, and it makes it very tough. So, like I said, I don't really mind where we're sitting at with Grand Arena right now. I just want a little bit more diversity as far as format goes.
Yeah, and we'll get there, I think.
Yep, definitely sounds like it. So let's get into some Star Wars news, and then we'll get into the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah,
with the Galaxy
let's
Heroes.
let's just start it off positive. Let's build our positive energy up, get the good vibes going. That way we can kind of cruise through the rest of the episode. Maybe a little inoculated against the negativity. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, we're gonna start somewhere.
Rise of Skywalker trailer. Holy crap! Did surely you watched this?
Yes, I did watch it a few times, and a couple breakdowns.
Oh man, I've watched. Like it first came out, we watched it probably 5 times as soon as it came out, and then like I said, started watching the scene by scene breakdowns, and then I got into the reaction video rabbit hole, and wow.
Yeah, it definitely looks very interesting going through. I mean, a lot of the new worlds and everything are in there. And speaking of new worlds, I will look that up real quick. Did you see what the new world is actually called?
There's several of them. You got the desert world. You've got the iceberg world, whatever that's going to be.
No, they went through and did a...
They've got names. I don't remember them.
Well, they just went through and released the ride name because they went through and released an update for Star Tours at Disney.
Right, yeah.
And it actually takes place on one of the worlds. Okay,
well, yeah.
It is the Ocean Moon of Keef Bir. Kefbir.
This rolls right off the top of your tongue.
Yes. So basically, the new Star Tours ride at Disney will go through and be on that planet where it appears the wreckage of the Death Star is.
I don't know. Death Star is either going to be on Endor or Yavin, unless there was another one that blew up somewhere. Or this wreckage has just been floating through space forever.
Well, it's listed as a ocean moon, Keef Bir. So I don't know if it's surrounding Yavin or Endor, but either way, that's what it's listed as right now.
Okay, well, we will see. Let's see. Well, the trailer did come out on Carrie Fisher's birthday, so happy birthday to her. Um, yeah, it starts off just like a normal trailer. Ray's running, doing her training, which everybody was so mad she hadn't been doing enough of apparently. But she's training, doing her thing, and so that's kind of the first half, and then man, it just puts the gas on that nostalgia button. Just if you didn't catch the feels during the C3PO line, you're just dead inside and not a Star Wars fan. I will say it right now. Like the end of it, the music hitting the orchestral, main theme. You talk about the end of the saga, getting maybe a glimpse of Palpatine. Oh my God, I'm going to watch it again. Cancel the show. I'm doing that the rest of the day.
I just keep looking at it and like trying to figure out where everything's coming from. The old school Star Destroyers coming out of the ice. It's just a lot of possibilities on where this is going and how this plot is going to be formed.
Yeah, just like almost every scene in that trailer was just epic. Like Kylo coming out the water splash. The Star Destroyers. Just everything. The horse charge on top of the Star Destroyer. What the hell is that about?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than Solo as far as a hype trailer. Actually very early in there, building up anticipation for the movie instead of just throwing the movie out there going, it's Star Wars, everybody will show up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it can bring back some people that maybe got a little burned on The Last Jedi. Early ticket sales seem to be positive. On a couple of sites, they said their day one ticket sales are about 2.5 times that of The Last Jedi. So maybe it's going to bring everybody back again. I hope so, and I hope it's good. You got your tickets already?
I do not. I don't really worry about it in my town. I'll just go through and show up.
We got ours 6 p.m. Thursday the 19th, as early as we can see it. We are going to be there, hell or high water.
Dressed as Kylo Ren and Rey.
Maybe. Nah, I doubt that. I'd be okay with bringing lightsabers, but my girlfriend's not that on board just yet.
But she already has the outfit now.
She does, yeah. We are award-winning cosplayers now.
That's right.
Just throwing that out there.
I'm sure you'll win something at the premiere.
Yeah. Runtime seems to be 155 minutes. That's going to be the longest Star Wars movie ever. Great. Give me 300 minutes. I don't care. It'd be 10 hours long. I will sit there for every bit of it. Looks like there are some leaks out there. So if you're out there looking for breakdown videos or whatever it is, be careful.
Yeah, supposedly the ending leaked and people are all up in arms about it, but who knows whether that's an actual leak or just someone trying to troll everybody by coming up with a horrible ending just to piss everybody off.
Yeah, who knows? There's a couple other little things going on in the world of Star Wars. Padawan, lightsaber, Jedi, and the Force are now in the dictionary. Oxford Dictionary added them, so there you go.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see. Tony Gilroy, he wrote Rogue One, and he's going to be working on the Cassian series. I liked Rogue One. I want to see more of that world, so that's a good development.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really like the writing in there and the plot and everything of Rogue One, so no issues with that one. That's very cool.
One of the things I saw, he's not really a Star Wars fan per se, and maybe that's good. Maybe that's what this series needs.
I think that's kind of like some of the issues I have like watching Doctor Who when a big fan goes through and does everything and they're like, oh, I can't do it this way because that's so much like this Doctor. I can't do it that way. It's so much like that. I have to do it this way because that's part of the show. And actually like people that go in with, they know of the series but aren't huge fans and they just kind of do their own little thing but make it in that universe. And I always find that actually being more refreshing and actually a better take on it, because otherwise it just looks forced on either trying to stay in that little bubble or trying to work so hard not to be like anything else.
Yeah, yeah. And really at this point, we need just different types of things. Like if Cassian was a spa show, not really action packed, that'd be cool.
Yeah, what else we
kind
got
of on
here?
that, Kenobi. We've got a few more details on that. Is confirmed to be 6 hour long episodes for the series, which is fine. I mean, we really don't need a 30 episode arc of Kenobi sitting on a dust ball planet.
Well, I mean, it's the first season, so you do 6 episodes, see where it goes, and take it from there.
I think that's all they're doing.
Hey, you never know. Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
they could go through and start doing sequels and prequels. It's if it becomes popular, I'm sure they will figure something out.
Yeah, they like money. Well, speaking of money, if you have a little bit of extra lying around, you can get the sweetest of all sweet little dolls. The missile firing Boba Fett is hitting the auction block.
Yeah.
You gonna put your bid in for it?
Oh, you know it. I mean, I'm going to be all over that, going through, ready to shoot someone's eye out.
Yeah, it's well, right now I think the auction's at about 133,000, and it's expected to sell for around $500,000.
Well, I mean, it's a bargain right now, so, I mean,
Yeah,
why wouldn't I pick
get in
it up?
early. So yeah, there you go. You got till the 7th. So look in your couch cushions, console your car, get your spare change up and collected.
Man,
Good luck.
I honestly think rather than a missile firing Boba Fett, I would, if I had that much money to spend, I would probably have a Gear 13 roster right now.
That's it. Yeah,
Just throwing it out there.
Mods. I would have a missile firing mortgage paid off. That's what I would do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's obviously, that would happen very easily.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, any more Star Wars news? Anything else on the trailer you want to talk about, or
No, not really. I mean, that pretty much covers it. I mean, for right now, we'll just ramping up expectations. Really excited about it and go from there. So let's get into the game.
Okay, we are rocking and rolling. It's been a busy few weeks. We had the Legend of the Old Republic Malak event. We'll talk about that.
We had it 2 times, about to be the third.
Yeah. So yeah, we had that going on. We've got Pieces of Plans going on. Rey's hero's journey. The mythic Pieces and Plans. And then it's gonna get a little light this week. So maybe something else.
I mean, I think I know what's going on this week. I would anticipate some either marquees or some characters dropping in anticipation for the Clone Parade.
Yeah, that's a welcome to the Clone Parade. It's gonna be a real sad, emotional territory battle. We got Luke Skywalker's hero's journey coming up on the 31st with Daring Droid. So if you're kind of early game and need those, hey, Luke he's a pretty good character.
Yeah, he's not bad. Heard he pairs well with Han and Chewie.
Yeah,
Who'd have figured?
definitely one of your core teams. So if you're on the fence about getting him, yeah, I would recommend it.
For sure. That all that's on the calendar there?
Yeah, I mean, there's Places of Power, Smugglers Run, and a Omega Battle. Nothing too exciting.
Yeah, unless you're building up teams for it, which, man, if you're building them up, get ready.
Yep.
Now, this week, we have mentioned it a few times, this Malak situation.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, in case anybody missed it, what happened was the event came out, and everybody started unlocking Malak. People started going through and saying, hey, I can replay it. I'll go through and replay it. What the hell? And they started receiving Malak shards again. So people were just basically completing the event over and over again to get Malak shards to take them right to 7 stars.
Yeah, now when I opened up the event, I saw it and hit possible rewards, and I saw the 75 reward for each side. my initial reaction, and they kind of didn't put two and two together, was like, oh, okay, well, they're giving us a little bonus for if we completed the event. And then as kind of the day went on, realized no, this is going for everybody. So even if you completed one side of it and needed the other side, you could replay light side again and get credit for it.
Yeah, it was not a bonus for having a 7-star Darth Malak.
Yes, my initial take was, okay, this ain't a big deal. Why are they rolling it back? Just give people some extra shard shop currency. But then kind of digging into the ramifications, there was no good solution on fixing this.
So you jumped to the conclusion on why it's an issue. The issue is a lot of people have a 7-star Darth Malak in which they had to wait a long time to be able to get to, because it takes a while to get that guild event token currency built up in order to take Darth Malak from 5 stars to 7 stars. And they already put General Skywalker in that same store. So now all these people that are going after Malak could just take them right to 7 stars, not have to worry about saving up their guild event tokens to purchase Malak shards. They could just save them up now and go right to General Anakin Skywalker and kind of skip a whole step that everybody else had to do with Malak. And that was my big issue with it. I'm like, I worked pretty damn hard to get my Malak to 7 stars and had to wait a long time to build up that guild event token currency to get there. And now all these people are going to come up behind me, get a 7-star Malak to match me. Okay, not a big deal, but having them be able to save the currency for General Skywalker, that's my issue. I'm like, well, now they're basically just jumping a meta and have the old meta and not have to go through that step to get caught up.
Yeah, so my initial read was not that big a deal, just let people get their shards. But then, like you said, kind of rolling back into it, it does, if they went that route, you're basically disrespecting the investment that everybody else had made. So that's not good.
The initial investment, the first couple go arounds at Malak. Yeah, you're basically just devaluing everybody else's Malak.
Right, and the people that got them early are probably going to be the people that are more invested in the game and whatnot. So that's no good. So their second option would have been, roll everything back. But I don't think they probably even have that capability to be, okay, well, let's just reset the game state to whatever it was before this event launched.
That's pretty much what they did.
Well, they had to do it kind of case by case and bits and pieces of it. Because think about it this way. Say you bought a mod in that window and you got that great RNG and rolled a 27 speed mod, and they roll that game state back. That's gone. You're not getting that again.
Well, from what they were mentioning about this was they actually did roll back. They basically just looked at, they could roll back by seeing people playing the event to see whether they unlocked Malak. And basically, if they unlocked Malak, they just froze it there to let them unlock and kept it there. And then reverted the gear or anything just on that single character is the only thing they actually rolled back. And they apparently they had the capability of doing that, in which they did.
Yeah, but I'm sure that was incredibly labor intensive. Having to do a case by case study for all the people that this affected.
Yeah, I'm sure it took a little bit to figure out, going through and pulling the data on what characters or what players unlocked Malak, because you could just see that event stats. That's pretty easy. Going through and figuring out, rolling back the gear and everything like that. Yeah, that probably took a little bit to figure out. But yeah, identifying the initial part, I can see actually being not that hard. Implementing everything afterwards, difficult.
Yeah, so they had that, and then how would that impact platoons? If somebody had a Malak they were able to put in a platoon, or were they able to pull them back out of the platoon? It's just a lot of second and third order effects that this problem caused, and I don't envy them at all. And you kind of go back to when we talked about this before the show, even the make good, it was an issue because if people didn't They say call it an exploit. I don't see it that way. There was, again, like, I logged into the game. I see a reward there. I don't think, I'm going to cheat the system. I think, they designed this now to give additional rewards. So I don't think the intent was bad for a lot of players. They just played what was in the game.
That, and then
So,
and the make good was basically taking anybody that had a 7-star Darth Malak already, giving them shard shop currency. Anybody who had their Malak reverted from any star level back to 5-star got shard shop currency and guild event token currency.
yeah, there were some Zeta mats thrown out too. And I think everybody got 500 crystals.
Yeah, 500 crystals, 2 Zetas also if you got your Darth Malak rolled back, which the guild event token currency is what bothers me. It's like they went through, did the exploit to be able to get more shards rather than purchasing through the guild event currency, and then all of a sudden they're getting guild event token currency to help speed up that farm for something. And it would be fine if everybody that had Darth Malak to begin with also got the same amount of currency.
Yeah,
because I'm saving up for General Skywalker and going through, and that every little bit helps, and going through and giving everybody that currency to help speed up their Darth Malak farm, and in the process is also speeding up their General Skywalker farm also by doing that, which to me is an issue. So, I mean, I don't really mind the rewards. I just wish everybody who listened to the in-game pop-up saying, hey, don't use this, as we will be taking it down, and follow through if they already, especially people that already had Darth Malak or 7-star Darth Malak, got the same amount of rewards as the people who did do the exploit and got Darth Malak.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate all around, and I don't know. I think the community reaction was a little kind of piled on after a certain point. I mean, it sucks, but there's so many just different use cases. It's hard to get a fix that's going to make everybody happy.
Yeah,
they did say that, and this came from CG Top Hat was on Galactic Roar Report and kind of addressed some of this, and we'll get to some of the other stuff he said. But they did mention that this impacted a smaller amount of the community than, say, Reddit or YouTube would have you believe. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're doing this stuff out of spite or to piss the community off or anything like that. They're doing the best with what they got. Was it a bug that should have been caught? Absolutely. And this, again, programming's hard. I don't know, but this seems like it should have been an easy issue to fix or catch.
Well,
apparently it wasn't, because even after the fix, they still had the problem.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would have handled the make good. Having the bug, okay. Rolling it back, okay. The make good probably should have been a little bit more even across the board, and not just basically rewarding the people who took advantage of the exploit.
Right.
That's all it looks like to me. It's like, hey, we left a bug in there, you exploited it, and we're going to reward you for it. Everybody else is going to get some rewards, but not quite what everybody else is getting. It just seems, I don't know. People who exploited the bug seems to be the people that made out the best with this make good, which bothers me.
Yeah. And also, they're going to be the ones that felt like they had something taken away from them the most because they had Malak for a minute and now they don't. But,
yeah.
I don't know. It sucks all around. I'm still optimistic on the game. I do have to say, and maybe it's because this didn't really impact me at all. I didn't do the event. I didn't.
Well, not yet. Just wait till those Malak start showing up because they got extra currency.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's move on, because coming up very quickly is a 4-year anniversary of the game.
Yeah. They are very brave, and they put a suggestion box out there. So if you have something you want the devs to know about, Yep, there you go.
Yeah. It, yeah, it was very brave. It's like, hey, what should we do for our 4-year anniversary? You tell us. And it's like,
Right.
ugh.
I don't think that's what you want them to do with the game is physically possible in this medium, but oh well. Anyway, we're actually doing something positive. We have kind of our community has rallied behind one of our members that is the biggest Bigs fan in the world. Actually, had the first Gear 13 Bigs, and we want Biggs to have his own portrait in the game somewhere. He needs it. It's got to happen. That mustache is majestic. It deserves a place of honor among these portraits. So if you have a couple seconds, go to the link in the suggestion box and say you want a Biggs portrait.
Or at least a big stash portrait.
Yeah, just a X-Wing with a mustache on it would be pretty cool.
All right. He's in disguise. Put the stash on.
So that was our public service announcement.
And then,
anything are you gonna suggest?
no, not really. I kind of was leaving that out. I mean, they were mainly looking for portraits and everything, and I'm like, portraits are whatever to me. It doesn't make a difference. Like, if I put a suggestion in there, it would have been hoping for a big event or something to commemorate the 4-year anniversary, not just a portrait. Hey, congratulations, you're still here 4 years later.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see some sort of event where the community could be like, "Oh yeah, hey, I was there for the 4-year anniversary. Remember playing this cool event that we only got to do this one time?"
Yeah,
that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, that would be more what I'm hoping for and would look forward to. Maybe roll back an old school tournament.
Oh, yeah,
4-year
that'd be
anniversary
pretty cool.
tournament. But yeah, let's they were doing that, and CG seems to be ramping up as far as communication going with the 4-year anniversary coming up, the clone parade coming up. They have the Malak debacle thing. So CG Top Hat went onto the Galactic War Report, which seems to be the only dev communication anybody outside of the walls of CG and their single computer seems to be getting.
Right.
So yeah, he went over a lot of stuff, and I think we're gonna go kind of one by one here of what he did say is coming out. So he did. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say you definitely check the show out. I mean, they do a good job. There's no hard feelings with them getting exclusives or anything like that. It's great for them, and hey, we get stuff to talk about as well. So definitely check them out. But some good stuff came out of this.
Yeah, some interesting stuff, that's for sure. So they did say ARC Trooper definitely coming out. Definitely will be kind of like the Bruce for Darkside TV.
Yeah, but they didn't say how we're going to get him yet, right?
No, they didn't say where he's going to be farmable or anything, but it definitely seems like he will be coming out before the clone parade. It will be kind of like that panic farm to go through to round out that 501st squad.
So you don't think he's going to be a marquee? You think he'll actually just go straight to the table?
Yeah, I think he's either going to go right... If I had to lay a guess, I would say right to the Cantina. So,
yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, get ready to farm him up. Get ready for the clone parade.
If whatever Cantina node he ends up on has some sort of mod energy or relic energy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that
would suck if we couldn't farm our relic energy.
Yeah, I think he would go right on to a 16 energy node with some sort of relic piece on it. Next thing he did go through and confirm was Kiadi Mundi will be the Wat Tambor mission for the clone parade. Went through... Go ahead.
I gotta say, I absolutely hate the name, the Clone Parade, for this thing. Like, come on.
Hey, it is what it is. Suck it up. Deal with it.
Ooh, my suggestion. Get good at naming scrubs. All right. Sorry.
But yeah, so he is definitely going to be coming out. I would imagine it's going to be 501st will be needed with the ARC Trooper to be able to get Kiadi Mundi.
I don't. Man, I still got this sneaking suspicion we're gonna have to use the crap team Jedi for something. Jedi Consular, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto.
No, that's going to be at the end. If it's going to be a Wat Tambor, Kiadi Mundi, and a Galactic Republic Jedi team is going to be needed in that final phase.
Kind of a special mission type deal.
Yeah.
I see him somewhere. I mean, this is the last chance for them to make money off these garbage characters. So this is prime time for them to get a little tune up, get a rework.
Yeah.
Be needed for something before we move on to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and he did say that this Kiadi Mundi is going to round out a Galactic Republic Jedi team. I don't know about you, but I don't know of any Galactic Republic Jedi team.
Right, yeah, nothing. Not in the past couple of years. Back in the day where we had Qui-Gon Jinn lead Zeta was the hot topic.
That's right. Go through.
Maybe back then.
Go through, put Ayla in there, some stuns. But yeah, that's about it. So it does sound like we're going to be getting some tune-ups or something to go with the Jedi to actually make that team work, or something with Kiadi Mundi, which is very interesting.
Give Mace a rework. He needs it again.
Yeah. So those are the two characters that are going to be in the Clone Parade. Also went through and confirmed the Malevolence is going to be the Guild event token currency capital ship that's going to be unlocked, that's going to be coming out with this event. So if you were saving your currency, we will be getting the Malevolence. I'm curious to see what the team, or what the final ability of the ship look like, and what team is actually going to be able to build around it. That way I can decide whether to go after General Kenobi's ship or the Malevolence.
Yeah, that was... We kind of suspected this would happen, kind of following the Wampa and Hermit Yoda situation. Yep. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision. Now, I am pretty well on my way with the Negotiator, so I think I'm going to at least get it up to 6 stars, and then start saving for at least the unlock for the Malevolence.
Yeah, and we were talking beforehand, and I went through and made the point that, say the Malevolence goes through and needs all new ships, in which you're going to have to wait for marquees or wait for farming, or you don't have the pilots geared up for that team, but you do for General Kenobi's and the Negotiator capital ship. It would benefit you just to go after the Negotiator, take it all the way up to 7 stars as you work on the team to build up around the Malevolence.
All right. Now, my only counter to that would be, depending on when we get Grand Arena ships, you have to have capital ships to have multiple teams. So the more you have unlocked and able to use, it's going to put you at a pretty good advantage.
Yes and no. If you don't have the team to go around it, it really doesn't matter if you have the capital ship there, and having a 6 or 7 star Negotiator is going to be a lot. Having the abilities leveled up completely is going to make a huge difference to have that ship either sit there on offense or defense to be able to take out a team, because you're only going to go up against one ship, I think, right now with Grand Arena. At least to start off with, you aren't going to have to set multiple fleets.
All right.
And, I mean, you could still use Mace or Home One, Thrawn's ship. I mean, you could still use Tarkin. A lot of people still have a lot of those characters geared up that you can get around it. But, yeah, it's going to come down to personal preference on how your roster is built, on whether it's going to benefit you to go after one or the other or both, and go from there.
All right. Well, what else did he say about the clone parade?
All right. So we went through, had that. They did go through and mention that right now it's aiming for the middle of November is when they're aiming to come out with that, barring any setbacks and testing. They said they are going through and doing basically kind of like a beta run of it right now. If there's no issues with that, it will hit that middle of November launch date. At the very worst, he said it might get pushed back to the end of November at the latest, which fine. I mean, that's a good timing. That goes through and sits around seeing the Vulture Droid, ARC Trooper coming in, hopefully this week into the game. That way you have a couple weeks of that panic farm right before the Lightside GOTB clone parade hits the board.
Yeah, that would make sense.
The battling of the Reek and Nexu definitely sounds like it's the Acklay with kind of like two phases, and they mentioned characters that were in that scene are heavily involved with that. So I don't know if that kind of sounds like it's going to go through and require Padme. I would imagine Padme, Kenobi, and Anakin for that mission. So we'll see about that. They also did mention something about kind of like the enrage factor, that characters that were involved in that scene could be in there too, which I'm thinking, wasn't that IG-100 droids with the shock sticks? Or was that Geonosians that were sitting there with shock sticks?
I think it was Geonosians.
Yeah, so it's probably a whole bunch of Geos. Yeah. Probably going to be exactly like the Acklay, except you're going to have Geonosians going through surrounding the Reek and Nexu.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Also, obviously, they did mention about... they didn't come out and say it, but they went through and mentioned, do you think we'll need the 501st clones or Galactic Republic teams for special missions or to unlock like Kiadi-Mundi? And went through and he said, I can either confirm or deny, but it goes through and it's very much just like all the other territory battles in which you're using tags and teams that are related to the event. So
right, yeah.
So it's like
Ewoks ready.
Yeah. So it's pretty obvious you're going to want your clones and Galactic Republic teams geared up for the special missions and going through. We just don't know to get Kiadi-Mundi whether it's going to be 501st clones or Galactic Republic needed for that mission, or which ones are going to be the special ones for more currency on which teams you're going to need right away. The last thing they kind of went through and did say was the Clone Parade is the wrap-up for the Clone Wars era for them, and then they will be moving on after this gets released. So don't expect any more reworks or any more characters coming from the Clone Wars anytime soon after the Clone Parade comes out. It is pretty much done, and they are moving on, getting ready. He didn't say what, but it definitely sounded like Rise of Skywalker. It was kind of like, there's kind of a big event coming up that we're going to be gearing up for, so I would expect Rise of Skywalker and the rest of the movies, because they did say they're going to go through and put in this new trilogy as a whole. They will be working on this with characters within that era.
Yeah, I've got to imagine this is where we're getting our new capital ships. They mentioned we'll get more on top of the Malevolence. It's got to be First Order and Resistance ships.
Yeah, I think we're going to get both capital ships. They also did mention non-piloted ships like the Vulture Droid, that they're going through and realizing that the pilots were creating kind of like a bottleneck and was creating issues for them on which pilot, how to go through and assign pilots to certain ships they wanted to put in, and how it really wasn't working because like a Y-Wing, they're like, who do you put in for a Y-Wing?
Right.
You kind of have to do a general one. So there are coming out with more ships like that and kind of doing a mix of ships.
Okay. Speaking of mix of ships, we
Yes.
kind of glossed over it with the trailer. That money shot of the fleet of ships with the Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
The Ghost is there.
Yeah, the Ghost is in there.
front and center.
Yeah, Han's old cargo ship is in there. Even looked like some old separatist command ships.
Yes, there
Were in
were
there.
separatist command ships back there.
Like the Mandalorian ship was in there, or at least his model of ship. Like everything's in there. B wings were in there. Y wings were in there.
Yeah, it was
Um,
very, very, very cool as
Now
far as ships go.
you know there's gonna be like a original trilogy person that just hates the new stuff. That we're gonna get a Resistance Y wing, and it's just gonna ruin their day.
Oh no, it'll be probably from the sounds of it. It sounds like they're going to go through and like the Vulture droid. They're going to be doing more ships, be generic ships. So they're going to have like a generic Y wing, a generic B wing, and things like that. And they said basically the issue they were having and trying to balance out, and they were trying it out with the Vulture droid, was the power of the ships doesn't really match up because you go through and the pilots upgrade the power so much, and they're building out teams for ships, and they're like, well, we needed more. They were trying to figure out how to balance it, and it seemed like they settled on capital ships are going to be your leader, obviously. Your piloted ships are going to be like your Thrawn, CLS, your plug and play power characters, and then you're going to be using these non-piloted ships, generic ships, to kind of fill in as far as reinforcements or like plug and play characters to fill out the team, and actually, or I would call them utility ships that would finish out the team and make them work.
All right.
So it seemed like a good balance and what they're kind of settling for. It's just a matter of getting the ships in our hands now to go through and create that.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're still thinking about ships, and they did mention that the new raid coming out next year will have a ship component, or they're planning on it anyway. Yeah. So it's not a dead mode. It's, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's just taking
Star Wars, man.
It's just taking them time to flesh everything out on how to go through and make it work. In which they were going through and also talking about they asked them about like team synergies to Top Hat, and Top Hat was going through talking about how we're starting to see more of a shift of the game as it's been progressing, in which you started off the game and it was about powerful characters, and you're going through using a certain leadership ability to benefit one or two other characters in your team, and that was all it is. Then he said they basically shifted, in which they were trying to go through and make core groups of characters work really together, and then having core group of 3 and then 2 plug and play characters to create teams is what they were going for. And now they're going through and actually looking at teams as a whole and creating a group of 5, and with no plug and play characters, and that group of 5 is what's working to create metas, to go through, and they're physically going through and making sure that those teams all work together, and it's no longer groups of 3, which CLS, Han, Chewie, group of 3, the Sith Triumvirate, a group of 3, and now they're shifting away from that pattern and going from there. Oh, I forgot. They did say about groups of 2, the duos, which were Wiggs,
right,
Chase, and groups like that were really well together. Krennic and Death Trooper were another example of their groups of 2s that were working together at the time, and how they slowly started adding more characters, and they're up to basically building full teams with synergies like that, and no longer doing the pairs and trios.
Yeah, that's kind of what we have been noticing with the decline in theory crafting, where you would have, like you mentioned, a few teams here and then some wiggle room on making additional teams, and that's kind of going away.
Yeah, and he came out right out and said it, that they're building out full teams now rather than actually going through and building out characters that work well together with some plug and play elements behind it, which I don't. Yeah, it kind of does take some stuff away from the game, especially when you start getting into new raids. mate, I could see it taking away from raids because you're going through. It's going to be like, oh, what team works, and you're just going to be plugging and playing in different teams rather than trying out the random combinations like a Tebow lead with Qui-Gon Jinn, Phasma,
Right.
What is it, Tusken Raider?
Yeah, we I don't know. We've
Or
got
not
some
Tusken
really.
Raider, it was Uraror because they had turn meter reduction. You're like going through and you're like, what team is this? Or the the Chirpatine team. Chirpa lead with Palpatine for phase 3 of the tank. Just putting stuns on everybody.
Right.
So I'm afraid that that's going to take away a lot of that combination. Or the other example he gave was what is the team called? The phase 3 for the Sith raid.
Oh, like the Death Storm.
Not Death Storm. It was before that. The original one with CLS and Han and everything.
Oh, yeah, but Death Trooper.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm still running, by the way.
Yeah, I still run that too, but it's like, I forget what it's called, but using that team, they said,
Yeah.
going through theory crafting and coming up with teams like that, I enjoy seeing that rather than, hey, it's Death Storm, which is pretty much a Night Sister team, and you just figure out how to mod them.
Yeah, it's fun. I guess kind of devil's advocate, and we kind of talked about this on the Discord too, with the new onboarding plans they have in place. I think a cool concept would be like you come in and you unlock factions at a time. Like maybe you get a choice when you start the game. Do you want to be Resistance or First Order? And you kind of go through some quests and you unlock the 5 original Resistance or 5 original First Order teams as a whole.
Yeah.
That way you're not forced to have to farm all these different characters. And, because they are required for all these different events. And it was a challenge too. It's like, oh, well, if you want to be popular or if you need to be good in arena, you've got to have this one character over here that's only useful in this one place and this other character that's only useful in this other place. So your farming actually took a lot longer because there were so many different directions you're being pulled. This kind of shift to team balance could simplify that, make it a little easier. You decide, okay, I want to go for Jedi now. I want to go for First Order now. I want to go for my Ewoks now. Whatever it is, and just do it as a whole versus, again, having to pick and choose.
And, yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I do like that idea. I'm just hoping they go back for some of these teams to add a couple more characters.
Oh,
for
yeah,
these
yeah,
factions,
for sure.
because Night Sisters are fine because, Night Sisters are fine because there's, 7, 8 of them? So you can actually mix and match the team to make it suit how you're playing. That's why Death Storm works, is because it uses an oddball Night Sister. Ewoks to some extent are like that, but then you have the clones, which, hey, you have your 5 clones, you put them in. Those teams bother me. I like having the flexibility of going through, depending on which characters you gear up, depends on how you plug and play that set of 5. I think there should be 7 or 8 per faction.
I hate leftovers in factions. Like,
Yeah.
like having Night Sister, Acolyte, or
Talia
like-
or Nistis or Initiate.
or First Order is bad about this now too. Like you can't make full teams. Like Phasma's out there flapping, not doing nothing. She needs something to do. You've got
Yeah. I'm fine with that if it goes through and serves a purpose for a plug and play team. Then you get to kind of go through and build the team that you want out of it. And like, oh, I kind of want to go through and build this Night Sister team for this purpose. So I geared up these 5 and I'll leave the other ones alone. When they're at that 8, 9.
I guess what I'm saying is I just want groups divisible by 5 for every
Gotcha.
faction out there.
Yeah.
My OCD brain can have full teams for everybody.
I am fine with 7, but as soon as they get to 8 to 9, I want to have the ability to go through and make 2 full teams out of them.
Right, yeah.
It's
That
like
was,
7 goes through and gives you flexibility to manipulate the team and manipulate the synergies based on what you're using them for. anything past that, it looks like, well, you guys are just missing out on a couple more characters, and you have 2 full teams.
Right. That was a it was a question we got asked in the show Q&A, was put every character on teams.
Cool.
And so I started messing around with this a little bit, and my brain was like, I can't
Yeah, not right.
do
Yeah.
like Phasma, Special Forces, TIE Fighter pilot, and then Koth or whatever. They got it all match.
Yeah.
So we're still working on that question. It's a good one. This is going to be a little bit longer term project.
Let's see what else we got. That is pretty much everything they went over in there. The last thing they kind of talked about, which, I mean, you have the stuff coming up, Clone Wars. They said, well, this is pretty much the end of it. It sounds like they're going into Skywalker. We aren't going to get anything on Jedi Fallen Order, The Mandalorian. We aren't going to get anything, it doesn't sound like, right now.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like, not everything needs to be in the game right away. Let Fallen Order be Fallen Order. We don't need to have Cal and Second Sister and all that crap in this game as well.
Yeah, the last thing he talked about and they asked about was the state of the game. Being the game's dying, this and that. And his comments were kind of interesting, and I can kind of see why we're getting certain answers the way they are. When we're talking about the onboarding process, we're running into issues with Grand Arena, like not being able to, how I was mentioning about farming or building gear pieces to get better ROI on salvage for relics. His kind of answer was like going through, he's like, we're kind of the dungeon master, and we're go through and have this big overview of what we're working on and what we're heading towards. So they aren't really worried about it on what problems are sitting in the game right now. And he said that's a conscious, that right now they're kind of becoming aware of, they got to that point in which they aren't worried about what's happening right now in the game because they're seeing 2-3 updates ahead of everybody else.
Right.
On what they're working on. So they're like, oh, there's not an issue. We're working on this, and the numbers and everything look fine here. And they aren't actually seeing people trying to deal with issues within the game right now. And he said some of that probably is their own fault because, as we've mentioned before with other games, and just everything in general, that they are, and he mentioned it, they have been way too guarded on what they do and do not talk about in like Q&As. When they get asked questions, they're kind of cagey about what going through and only gonna give half answers to things. And he said probably was hurting us because they're going through, you never really know what's going on in the game. You don't know what to expect or get excited for because they didn't want everybody to start working towards that or everything like that, which kind of, I understand why they would be like that because it is a pay-to-play game in which they got to make money for. If you give people too much time, they will go through and prepare for it. But at the same time, giving a general outline of what they're working on, but not saying like what faction or how everything is set up. You don't know what teams to work on, so they could go through and get people excited for new content coming out and can kind of get excited and prepare in different ways. Some people might just gear up more characters because they know it's coming.
Yeah, it's kind of a take we've always tried to have on the show is, yeah, they're seeing a bigger picture than we have, access to. So a lot of the decisions they make are, for us, it looks like it's in a vacuum, but for them, there's other things they're having to consider. Again, they always don't make the right decisions for us based on that, but I kind of see their point. And hopefully they're becoming more aware and are able to communicate a little more with us.
Well, and that's kind of, it sounded like his point was that the players are seeing everything in a vacuum, and they're going through making decisions based on 2 or 3 updates ahead of time.
Right. And also they have access to the real data too.
Yeah.
We get, a very skewed, almost echo chamber view of the game.
Well, his point was more that they're going through making decisions based on 2 or 3 updates ahead, and they're losing sight of what the game is doing right now.
Right.
In which they're going through and like, oh, that's going to be fine here and this update, and not going through and looking at what impact it's currently having on the game. And he said we're trying to get better as far as going through and realizing that and trying to fix some of these little issues that are sitting there that might be going away later, but right now it is a big issue. And hopefully it gets better. And like we said with the game, how people say the game's dying and every yada yada, it is a mobile game. It's going on 4 years. A lot of people that are on Reddit, have been on YouTube forever, have been here since day one of the game. That is a very long time to be playing any game, let alone a mobile game. Right. So obviously we're going to see a lot of that situation where you're saying that the game's dying is because those long-term players are moving away from the game, and we aren't seeing anything of the influx of players coming in.
Exactly. We don't hear about 50 new players joining the game. We hear about how hard it is to recruit for later stage games and all that.
Yeah, so
we do get a negative bias on it.
Yeah, we just aren't seeing that lower end of the game and people coming in. The only thing I can say is the way everything's going through and looking, they definitely are going to have to go through and take a re-look at mixing up shards, arena shards. The more and more players you lose, it narrows down the pool in arena. So
they are going to have to eventually do something. And oh man, it is going to be an interesting day when that drops.
Yes, definitely. I from hearing him talk and kind of like processing through my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's going to become an issue because endgame players are leaving. It's 4 years. It's going to get ugly here at some point, but we'll go from there.
No, kind of tangent on the people leaving and all of that. What is your take on dragons?
I'm not playing it.
I'm not either. If you like that game, man, more power to you. But you
weren't building
YouTube
up the panda faction?
I am not. No, my pandas are just going to stay unleveled. I just cannot take that seriously.
I mean, it is what it is. They went through, and it's a similar game to Galaxy of Heroes. I will go through.
Looking at screenshots, man, that is some Mikey Air Gordon bootleg stuff. And then just like, well, it's cheaper than Galaxy of Heroes. Well, of course it is. Who is going to pay money for a grasshopper?
Yeah,
whatever the hell they got.
Yeah, I'll stick with Galaxy of Heroes. We'll continue going on. They had the conversation about being in a lull because they're going through and moving 2 or 3 updates down the line and losing sight. Like I said, they're losing sight of what's happening in the game right now. And they got so far down into it that they realized, oh crap, we've gone like 2.5, 3 months and haven't put anything really into the game.
Right.
So it's like, we kind of lost track of everything because we were working on this and be like, man, we're super pumped. I can't wait to show you what we're working on. 3 months later, hey, you finally have it.
Right.
But we had 3 months of nothing. So, yeah, it does sound positive. It does sound like they're working a lot of stuff, kind of tweaking everything to make it all work together. Really curious to see what he was referring to as the dungeon master working on the whole outline of everything, seeing the players get caught up to that and see what it looks like here soon.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. There's so much good stuff going on. It's in the Star Wars universe. This game will kind of get the fall out of that. We talked about Fallen Order's out there. Rise of Skywalker is going to be a huge content push for the entire sequel trilogy. The new onboarding systems in place, that's going to shake some of the mechanics up, I think. Looking forward, we've got Clone Wars Season 7. Of course, they did say they were done with clones for now, but you never know.
Well, I think the game wise it's done for clones, but I am excited for that because anytime there is a big event like that, it's going to drive people into the game.
Yeah, yeah. So that's going on. We do have a new raid coming out early next year. That's exciting. It's got to be sequel trilogy focused. We've got original, we've got prequel trilogy. We need one for the new stuff.
Yeah. Well, I have no idea. I'm more excited for. I don't care what the raid is. I care more about the mechanics of the raid and that it has ships. So that's more of what I'm excited about. Like I said, I could really care less on the actual era that it's placed in.
I want to see something new. I want to see some resistance versus first order stuff. The only thing about a raid, though, they typically don't release a raid without some sort of moving the goalpost. And so there's going to be level cap increase, the new, mod levels,
but it could be the new mod levels. They did say the 6 dot mods would be eventually being able to be leveled up, so it might just be the mods.
Yeah, could be. It's going to be something. So
and we
go
also,
ahead and
and we also have they did say the relic abilities that when you get them to tier. I don't know if they actually said if relics had to get to tier 7 to get the new ability, but it might also be saved like a unique or something like that. It unlocks at 5 at level 1. You can upgrade it to level 2 when you hit relic 6. You can upgrade it to level 3 when you hit relic 7. It might be tiered like that also.
Could be something like that.
So there's always that flexibility in which they said that is coming to the game also. So there's a whole bunch of moving the goalpost lines that they can do for a raid.
And I was also thinking too, like with the relic ability, that also gives them the option, like say C-3PO. Something's happening to him in the next movie. What that is, we don't know. But having, if it's a major change to the character, having that relic ability would be a way to kind of tap into that lore without releasing, Resistance Fighter C-3PO or something like that, where we had the situation with Han having 15 different versions of him.
Yep. So it'll be definitely a good thing. Curious to see how they go through and implement it now. All right, let's do we got any listener questions before we head on out of here?
Let me bring it up here and see what we got.
Yeah, as far and then we'll go over the marquee watch while you're doing that. We're still waiting for the Vulture droid. We thought it would be coming out here this week, or last week, I should say, the 26th, which did not happen. But I am optimistic that it will happen here the first week of November in anticipation for the clone parade and possibly the introduction of the ARC Trooper also.
Yep. Okay. Got a few questions here. Drew asks, to try to jump the meta, how much effort should somebody put into First Order and Resistance ships in case they get a capital ship?
Ooh.
I think it's about 100% we're going to get one. Whether it's going to define the meta, I don't know. For me, I'd focus on known ship quantities right now, but definitely have a plan in place for those factions.
Yeah, I'd see more of First Order and Resistance being Grand Arena and events like that more than ships to start off with. I think the First Order and Resistance ships, as far as meta, going to be further down the line because they're going to have to introduce a lot more ships within those factions to make that work. So it's going to be months and months down the line, where right now you'll be able to go through and quickly, for endgame players, be able to quickly build up a team for both the Malevolence or Negotiator is going to be a better option for you. And I think those ships are going to be more of the meta, with Resistance and First Order being kind of like your Geonosians and some of these Grand Arena teams that are very good teams. They just aren't the top tier meta teams.
Right. Oh man, I hope Holdo is the Resistance Fleet Commander.
Oh, will be guaranteed.
So many tiers. It'd be so good. Okay.
Final,
next question.
final
Yes.
punch it.
That would be cool, though. I mean, really, like if that was an option to sacrifice abilities for the rest of the battle to use that ultimate,
But
that'd be a
might
cool little mechanic.
Yeah, that's her ultimate. She goes through and you lose the capital ship. Ah!
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Casey asked, if you were able to ignore the meta, which character/teams would you take to Gear 13 for fun?
Ooh. For fun, I would do... Right now, I still want to do the bounty hunter team, so I really would like to do Django, Embo, characters like Nest would be fun at Gear 13. I would probably do something like that.
Okay, I think I would go with the Imperial Troopers. Like they've been kind of stagnant for me for a while, and just can never bring myself to gear them up all the way. And they look like they are a great team. They're awesome on Grand Arena. It's just something I hadn't committed to yet. So I think that'd be my answer.
Yeah, nice.
All right, let's see. Drew asked, when will Big Deal be on the podcast? I don't know.
Well, put it in the works.
Yeah, it's up to Big Deal, I guess. Okay, Cotman asked, now that the other shoe is dropped with General Skywalker, do you think he'll be a short meta? Will anything from Episode 9 dislodge him? Will Jedi Ray be the next Force Zeta character? Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the meta. I kind of think that... I think he'll have a place in the meta, but I do think that anything from Episode 9 is going to be at the forefront.
Let's say yes and no. I think General Skywalker will be the meta here for the foreseeable future, because I think the Resistance and First Order characters to go along with Rise of Skywalker is going to be more like marquee events, in which is going to take a while. So, I mean, I don't think you're looking at a First Order Resistance actual meta until probably closer to like February. So, I mean, it'll have a decent place. And of course, he's not going to go anywhere once those teams are ready. He'll still compete and be able to get to the top. But I think it's a decent place in there.
Yeah, I guess our definition of a short meta has been so warped by being in the Old Republic era forever now.
Yeah.
Like having
I'm like, define short meta. I could see it being like 3-4 months. How much?
That's a flash in the pan.
Yeah, a flash in the pan. You want a flash in the pan? That was what was it, Padme meta, right? Or not the Padme meta. The I forget. We had a meta there. It was like a month long. All of a sudden, it was like, oh nope, not there anymore.
Yeah, let's see. Going along with the Sky Guy questions, does this bring back Clone Wars Chewie for a Padme team? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good possibility for when you're splitting up teams, especially for Grand Arena. I can definitely see that being a possibility of needing to do that as you split up teams and create everything.
And he's one of those characters, too, that kind of gives people a false sense of security. You know, maybe over or underestimate him, because he's a pretty powerful character in the right circumstances.
Yeah, put in the right team. He's not going to do damage, but he's going to soak up a ton of damage and make it very difficult to beat the team.
Well, he can do some damage after a while once he starts getting ramped up.
Oh yeah, anybody underneath Padme is going to ramp up and do serious damage.
Yeah. Okay. Mil Muertes asks, with everyone saying the game is dying all the time, who's really to blame? EACG or the former content creator game changers who bury everything that happens because they're no longer in the in crowd? Little column A, little column B, I think.
So I don't think it's anything to do with the game changers, because that, to me, that falls under CG creating that thing, because they killed off the game changer program. So that's technically what started that, not the actual game changers themselves. And yeah, basically be CG, which we talked about, in which they admitted to some of that, of them looking at the long term and not actually realizing what was happening within the game at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of talked about this before too. Like everything just seems to have to be so extra to get attention. So like even like the positive videos about the game now are game dying, end of SWGOH, and then you watch the videos like, no, everything's fine, just play the characters, whatever.
Clickbait,
So
come on. It's clickbait.
yeah, it's all clickbait. and then like the whole Dragon Champion thing too. Some of that does kind of hit me as somebody trying to make their ex jealous by dating somebody that looks just like them.
No, so all right. So my take on basically that game and what the game changers are, former game changers or people that covered Galaxy of Heroes. Galaxy of Heroes hasn't had any content to actually to make videos on. What are they supposed to make videos on? So they're, as YouTubers, they need to go through and find something to make content on. And Galaxy of Heroes has not given them any content to make videos on, so they had to find something.
Yeah, that's a good point too, and that does kind of lead into the sensationalism of the daily videos. If you're putting something out there every day,
yeah. I mean, most YouTubers and everything, their goal would be one video a week. Is kind of the ideal YouTube and like mid-level YouTube channel. You'd be looking at 1 to 2 videos a week, and if you're going through Galaxy of Heroes, the last time you would probably be able to put 1-2 videos out a week consistently would have been probably last year, the end of the Marquee, in which you were going through reviewing characters and trying to build up teams.
Right.
That would probably been the last time you were able to do that. So I mean, when you're going through and you're hitting that long in which you're trying to stretch out to make content, you got to find a different game or a different avenue to make content on, especially from what I was seeing about that Dragons here. I don't even know what the title of the game is.
Dragon Champions.
Dragon Champions game, in which the developers are in a Discord channel constantly in communication with everybody, giving them updates on what's going on, where you could just read through Discord and look at what the devs are saying within that game to create content. And they're updating the game about every week because it's a newer game that needs to be updated and is constantly evolving as it's going.
Right. And, not to hold ourselves unaccountable, our show's kind of slowed down too. There's just not a whole lot to talk about. So I guess, is now versus, like I said, last year is every week, and we still couldn't cover everything.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Yeah, that's all I think that is. It's more of just a content slowdown is why people are moving on, and then it's making it sensationalized because people got into that rhythm and kind of into that expectation of having something new every week, every other week, of having some new piece of content or new update into the game that we aren't getting anymore.
Gotcha. All right, Drew also asked, with the recent power creep for events, when we get a new legendary tune, do you think it will be about 17,000 and a half power with relics required? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way around it. I mean, yes, it's considered power creep, but it's necessary power creep. Otherwise, there'd be no stretching for the event. The event wouldn't be fun. Hey, I already had the character and I went in and hit auto and beat it. It's not fun that way. So they have to go through and tune the mechanics up to make it difficult and make it a challenge for players.
All right. Cotman, why are people freaking out about General Skywalker being 5-star unlocked and using Get 1, but weren't about Darth Malak? I think because it's additional drain on that currency.
For me, the reason I have an issue with it, because after Malak came out, they discussed about having the gear crunch and everything, and they said, don't worry about spending your currency in that shop. It is there to alleviate the gear crunch by purchasing gear within that store. And then they came out with General Skywalker in that store. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, well, we were looking at that too. There's you can look at the quotes and you kind of construe it that way, but they never specifically said the Guild Event Token store. I think everybody just kind of remembers it that way. It was a Reddit thread about the Mandela effect with it and all that. It was kind of neat if you want to look that up. But yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
I think that's more of what it is. When you go through and try to defend yourself by saying, oh, we're trying to help alleviate the gear crunch by putting it in all these stores, and you can buy all this gear in the stores, and then they throw characters into that store where you can purchase gear, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, will ships ever get reworked? Yes.
Yeah. Well, not completely, but I think they will. Well, are you thinking like complete overhaul like they did from the 5-team to 3-team?
No, I'm thinking just tuning up old ships.
Yes, I do think they're going to do that, especially after them talking about unpiloted ships and how they want to go through with the leadership, the capital ships with the leadership ability, having piloted ships tuned a certain way. I do think they're going to rework them to make them synergize better within those. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-person or a 3-ship team or a 5-team ship meta. Either way, I think they're going to have to rework them to be able to make the synergies work the way they want them to with the new capital ships.
Yeah. Let's see. Ozzy asked, what characters for General Anakin need to be Gear 13 and what relic level? I had a few people post their teams and their priority. I think B1 Battle Droid and Asajj for your Separatist team. If you can, Droidica.
I don't know if Asajj would be needed at Gear 13. Definitely B1 from what I saw. Definitely, I would say Padme and Ahsoka or General Kenobi.
Yeah, I did. My Ahsoka was relicked up, my Kenobi was relicked, and my Padme was relicked, which made that one pretty fairly easy.
Yeah, from what I saw, it was like people could get away with it with General Kenobi and Padme relicked up in Gear 13. The other one, like I said, I'm not 100% sure on the Separatist version, other than B1 definitely seems to be one you definitely need to have relics on.
Yeah. It was a tough one.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Ulick Keldroma, with Geo Territory Battles bringing in the first Mark II currency for the store, do you think the new raid they're working on now would create a Mark II guild currency that would have rare gear pieces or some new characters?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to end up happening with the new raid. It's going to end up being split like that because they just went through and were able to accomplish that with the guild event token currency.
Yeah, and we need more sources for that currency. So a raid would be a good one for it. If it's going to be the in-game stuff, it needs to have in-game rewards.
Yeah, it's going to happen. As much as I don't want another currency and having the guild store split up like that, I do think it's going to happen.
Okay, now are you saying there's going to be like a new currency for the new raid?
Yeah, new currency for the new raid.
I don't think so.
I'm thinking it's going to be a new currency for the new raid, and it's going to be the store, the guild store. It's going to be set up like the guild event store, in which you have 2 different currencies to be able to purchase within your store.
I could see him doing that. I hope that's not the case. I hope they keep it guild event token 2 for the raid, and then have exclusive drops for the raid.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up going into the guild store, and it's going to be split out for gear, but we'll see.
Okay, let's see. That looks like the last question there. All right, what you bumping and grinding?
Oh man, like I said, I'm working on, now that I have Bruce done, Gear 13, I'm working on getting ready for General Skywalker. So getting Padme up, Ahsoka, General Kenobi, B1. Basically just going to go down in that order. And getting close, getting very close on these, finishing up these hard-nosed farms. Pretty much all of them are right around 70 of 100. So looking forward to knocking out Emperor Shuttle, the Ebon Hawk, and the Anakin's ETA are all quickly coming to an end, thankfully.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be a good feeling. Kind of like you, I'm just working on my Anakin, trying to slowly, surely get those shards. I'm at 30 of 85 on him, and mentioned Negotiator. I'm at 55 of 85. I don't know if we're going to get enough to get him up to 6 stars. After this one, we'll see. We may get 30 stars on this territory battle.
Yeah, we were super close last time, so I'm anticipating getting 30 stars.
I hope so. Yeah, that's it. Nothing too crazy.
So, I mean, we made it. It was definitely a longer episode here, going over a lot of this stuff, but we had a couple weeks to sit on it. Hopefully we get something this week, maybe next week, and we'll be able to go through and give out some more information on the Clone Parade, on what we're looking at, when it's going to be dropping, and what teams we're going to be gearing up for it.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So, before we get out of here, do you want to go through and wrap everything up before I hit the lights?
Yeah, hey, for less than the price of a missile-firing Boba Fett, you could get some gear or something.
You could have a full Gear 13 roster.
He could buy the studio, probably. All right.
I don't know if you want that.
Nah, probably not. Anyway, y'all know the deal. Leave us a review if you feel like it. We do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Cantina Vizsla. Tip jar is out. And if the show helps you or whatever, leave us a buck or two. If not, we're still going to do the show for free. But we appreciate your support. Want to email us? cantinavizsla@gmail.com. But hey, if you really want to talk to us, get on our Discord. We have a lot of fun on there. Pretty much on there all day, every day.
Along with a large contingent of players also.
Yeah, we have fun. We may not be the most serious theory crafting forum out there, but we have some fun.
Yeah, we do have people that are better at theory crafting. So if you do have a question, we will be able to find you the answer. We may harass and give some joke answers at first, though, but we'll get around to the seriousness at some point. Oh,
yeah. We've also got a section for show Q&A, so if you have a question you want read on the show, you hop on in there, leave it there. Got some show ideas if you want, the show to be better, throw it in there. We talk about Destiny, we talk about toys and collectibles and sweet little dolls and all that, so you can show off your collection. A lot of good stuff.
And I will put up a community shout-out section up here. Also, that will be in there. So, let's get on out of here. And until next time, guys. Later.